Hi friends, welcome back to JiJi's world. Today I'm doing part 2 of making this little Lego TV. Oh, this is kind of messed up. Here you go. We're working on this. And I have another story time for you about myself and T. If you did not watch part 1, you should go watch that. You don't have to watch that to watch this one, but just so you kind of know what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about, you should watch part 1. I wanted to tell you about yet another incident where we went and hung out with somebody that I ended up knowing. But before we get into it, please subscribe if you are not subscribed and like this video if you have not liked it already. I really appreciate it. It helps me a lot. And let's just get into this. So, this is how much we had last time. I don't have that much left. I only have a few pieces here to put. So I'm going to talk a little bit and then I'll start working on this because I think the story is going to take longer than it is to build this. So this story takes place in around 2006. This is before the stories that I told last time. We were about 16 years old. I think I was 15 and she was 16, my friend T. Where I'm from was a small town, so we didn't have our own mall. So we would have to go about 30-40 minutes away to go to a mall. And on this day, we were going to a mall outside of town and we were going there to see if we could talk to boys, okay? Boys, operative word is boys, not men. And he ended up giving this guy her number, and this guy was clearly older than us, but I didn't know until after this time that we met him just how much older he was than us. And I believe that he was definitely over the age of 21. I think he was 23 and we were 16. And I remember our age because as the story goes on, I remember being like, this feels weird. Myself and several of our friends were like, I don't know if this is a good idea. Like, you're only 16. Like, we did have some wherewithal about us. But I remember my friend being like, nope, that's legal in our state and blah, blah, blah. Just because something is legal doesn't mean that it's okay. We've had several things be legal that I would not consider okay. So, I mean, but we were naive and we were young. So we meet this guy at the mall, gives him her number and he reaches out to her. And over time they start talking. I don't really know like how this came to be. I can't really remember. I just remember kind of making friends with this one person in school, M. And I had known M, like we all kind of knew each other because we had been in the same school system, right? But my town had different elementary schools and then you started to go to the same schools. We end up befriending this person, M, and she's not really in our group of friends. We don't really hang out with her. I don't even remember why we befriended her. Honestly, looking back, my friend T probably was scheming or something because it just is too weird that this happened. So we go over M's house one time and we like end up sleeping over, and it's like a perfectly regular little teenage hangout sleepover. And that's that from that time. The next time we go over, somehow, I think that T had been at M's like without the rest of us and was like befriending M herself because there was times where I wasn't there where they were going over to the house I'm about to tell you about. How strange that just street over from our friend M lives this guy that we met at the mall that we totally did not know. We met him at the mall and he just happened to live a block away from our friends, and we met him, like I said, it was like 40 minutes away. I don't even get how he lived in our town. That alone was a weird coincidence. So over time, like if we stayed at M's house, we would sneak over to this guy's house and drink or whatever, do whatever, just be there. And I remember feeling weird because he definitely, I have older siblings, so he definitely was older than us, you know? Like, I remember being like, this is weird. And again, I was mostly there because I was worried about my friend, and same with my other friend that came with us. And there'd be like 3 of us, 3 16-year-olds in this man's home. Mind you, we met this guy in the mall. Like, I don't know him. And I don't know, like I said, he happened to live down the street from our friend. And not only that, but I find out that his roommate and the person that owns the house that he's living in is the brother of this kid that I was kind of friendly with that used to like be on my bus in school. And that was bizarre. And I just like don't understand why this keeps happening. Yeah, like I said, over time, we keep spending time at his house. There's definitely underage drinking happening. I never drank when I was there because I felt weird about this guy. And also like the only place we could hang out was in his weird tiny bedroom because he didn't want his roommate. Hello, red flag, red flag. If someone is telling you that they don't want someone to like know that you're around or whatever, that's a red flag. I don't know. It's weird unless we were both 16 and it was about our parents. That's about it. But he was a grown man and he was afraid to have us around because his roommate would get upset with him. And we also knew this to be true because one time we were over and T ended up throwing up and like getting sick on his carpet. And the roommate found out and was pissed. And 3 16-year-olds had to go to the store and get carpet cleaner for this 20-something-year-old to fix his carpet because his roommate was rightfully upset that someone threw up on the rug. And then he finds out who threw up on the rug and he's like, what is wrong with you? Like, we heard him say this, why do you keep having young girls here? Excuse me? No, again, if you watch the first video I did, this is a common thing that people around these adults are saying. And I want to say, if the people in this story ever find this and they know it's about them, I just really want you to know, like, I'm so sorry that these people treated you this way. Because why were so many adults aware of the fact that what was happening was wrong, but no one was like really interfering? I don't know. I guess because technically, like I said, it was quote unquote legal, but I don't know. We shouldn't have been in these situations, no matter how goofy we were, you know? And it was not a safe place to be. Yet, my friend T continues to see this guy, even with all these red flags. And it was after that point that we were like, are you sure you should be seeing this guy? I want to say he was 23 or 24, but I don't really remember. Either way, he was over 21, and that is enough for me because you are in a whole different existence when you are someone who's of age, like that, of drinking age, than you are when you're 16. I mean, we're not thinking like that, you know? We're not thinking about that kind of stuff. I kind of was because, like I said, I had older siblings and I don't know, I never really had like a great feeling. And I remember that like me and some of my other friends would talk about it and be like, what is going on? Like, why would you be up to this? This is so creepy. We were just like, ugh. Anyway, it's been months. So at least it felt like months. I don't know. It could have honestly been like 3 weeks. I have no clue, but I think it went from summer to winter in this situation. So it's been like 6 months or something. And T is invited to a party by this person. And T invites our friend L. So L goes with T to this party and I'm not 100% sure what ends up happening, but something happens where the guy from the mall who had invited her to this party and L exchange numbers. I believe they like had a kiss like in the garage or something weird during the party and behind T's back. And now T, this young person, thinks that she's dating this guy. No matter what about how old this guy was, like it also was just like not what he should have been up to anyway because he was like allegedly dating my friend. So it was all very strange. I don't know about this. I don't find out about this till later. I am still like hanging out. The three of us, me, T, and L, were all pretty close. L and I had been friends like before high school, and we met T once we went to high school. Though we were pretty close, Al did not tell me about what was going on, didn't tell me that there was like a kiss or anything, like a drunken kiss or something, whatever. I'm telling the story as it was when I was younger. Looking back as an adult, this was disgusting and I wouldn't really describe a lot of this as I would then. I just like, this story is just so wild. Like I don't even understand, like this guy ends up being a menace to the high school apparently because now he has like, now we're up to 4 16-year-old girls that I know of that he's been around. 2 of them he's like pursuing romantically or sexually. I would say more sexually, but they think romantically. Anyway, he's not really talking to T now. And I remember this because I was with T like dealing with that and talking about, oh my God, a moth. come on. So now, like I said, he's kind of started pulling back and he is like acting different toward my friend. And I remember knowing this because she was very upset and really confused. And this was like her first relationship. And again, I wouldn't really call it that, but in her point of view, that's, you know, how she felt. And so she's devastated and I'm dealing with her telling me all this stuff. And I go and see Elle and we're just hanging out. And she's like, I need to talk to you about something, but you literally cannot tell anybody. And spoiler alert, everyone found out in the end. So I'm really not the people who are involved like know what happened. But at the time she was like, you cannot tell anyone. And I'm like, okay. And she proceeds to tell me that her and this guy, the guy that we met at the mall months ago, me and T, not me and Elle starts telling me, I went to a party, we kissed, we exchanged numbers, we've been hanging out. And she starts telling me all this stuff about how they've been hanging out, they've been talking all the time, and how he's like trying to like let T down easily and all this stuff, but like he's really not, because then I'm getting a different story from T. Like he's obviously telling Elle something to be like manipulative and weird. She starts telling me that she loses her V card to him, by the way, in his car. And that I was like, what? Because again, I knew how old this guy was. I had a weird feeling about him. And a lot of us had already talked to T. A lot of the people in our friend group, like our larger friend group, had been talking to T like, what is going on? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And Elle was part of that group. At least Elle was like hearing us saying that stuff. So it's like so crazy that now he's with two of my friends. And like, who is this person? It's so creepy to me that this happened. At the time, it was like, oh, like what drama? Like even if we had like bad feelings about it, it was more like, oh wow, like wild scenario, you know? Like I said, he's not talking to T. He is talking to Elle. He's like stringing T along allegedly to let her down. Now I'm like in contact with everyone. We're like, this is when texting is a thing now. Like we're texting, we're IMing, all this stuff. I find out from T that the guy is going to a party, but he didn't invite her. And I don't really remember what his reasoning was about not inviting her, but I just remember that he did not invite her. T would like drive by people's houses and stuff back in the day and like do weird stuff like that. So I think she like went to the house where she had been to a party and they happened to be having a party there. I'm like 99% sure. But at the party, the person that he had invited was Elle. And they have had this like secret thing going on now, like I said, for a while. And no one is telling T. No one wants to hurt T's feelings. You know, all these things, but yet they're still just like doing whatever behind her back. She shows up and she finds out what's going on and is rightfully upset, but somehow these two reconcile. I don't even know why or how, because as far as I'm concerned, no. I would not be reconciling with my friend, especially if I had been that upset about it. And like I had said, through the perspective of a teenager, thinking this is like someone you're dating. It's really strange that this all unfolded the way it did. And like I said, I can't believe that this menace to society was out here. I made the little legs. And this is what it looks like so far. It's almost done. Everyone finds out what's going on. T is devastated, but still is like trying to see this guy. And they end up like still dating, but they're not dating. And he just like eventually ghosts both of them. And I'm left to like deal with the aftermath of my poor friends who also have been taken advantage of by this creepy guy. And thankfully, nothing too like damaging really happened outside of the fact that he was an adult, but like no one had anything physically happen to them or anything like that as far as I know, based on what I know. I am thankful for that, but it was a wild ride. I mean, that's where we were starting at 16, so it makes a lot of sense that like the years going forward were even more wild than what we had been experiencing. Yeah, like I said, I really wish that I had adults around me that were a little more serious about those things. Here is the finished TV. Story is a little crazy, but I hope if anyone hears it that they can take something from it, either as a young person or as an adult that has young people around them. Just watch out for each other, be careful, be smart, and you can have fun without being around weird adult men. I hope that everyone's doing well. Thank you so much for watching this video and hanging out with me. I appreciate all of you so much. We are not far from 100. I think I said that in the last one, 100 subscribers. subscribers. I'm so excited and having so much fun growing this community, so I hope that you are too. I hope you're excited for what I have in store for you. I haven't really shared yet, but I am going on vacation, so I'm gonna have a lot of content for you from there. I'm excited to share more with you. This was just something quick and easy, and I thought it'd be funny to share another story from my youth. I can share more fun ones next time, but like I said before, if you want me to talk about anything specific, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.